Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Circuit Stream event. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we are going to be focused on the XR development and the XR design courses. We also have a special guest joining us to share their experience with one of our courses here at Circuit Stream. So before I get going, I always usually like to make sure that everybody can hear me okay, everybody can see me okay. So if you don't mind, just let me know in the chat log off to the right-hand side there. Just give me a thumbs up. If you can do an emoji thumbs up as well. Yes, perfect. Thank you so much, Maya, for the confirmation there. That's awesome. Speaking of the chat log, I just want to make sure everyone is familiar with how to use the platform here for today's presentation. So the chat log is off in the bottom right-hand corner. Of course, feel free to use that throughout the whole day, or throughout the whole presentation, I should say. We also have a questions tab. If you have any questions about the courses or for the guest speaker, you can put those right into the questions tab. We will take a little bit of time at the end of the presentation to go through some of the questions. So you can utilize those. We'll kind of present them for the class, as I say, at the end and go through that. There's also a polls tab. I think I have 4 polls in total that I wanted to share with the audience today. I have published 2 of them right away. There are polls that you should be able to answer right away without having to hear any of the course material or anything from the presentation. But I will post a couple more polls near the end of the presentation, a little bit more specific to the course material and just to make sure that everyone's understanding what we are sharing. So all that being said, I'm going to start by introducing myself. My name is Tyler Trapp. I'm the marketing events manager at Circuit Stream, and I've been with this company for just over 2 years. I actually just celebrated my 2-year anniversary yesterday, in fact, so just fresh 2 years. I've worked in travel and tourism for about 10 plus years, kind of before COVID hit, and as a lot of people's careers kind of shifted during that time, mine did as well. And I'm also a video game enthusiast, so I play a lot of video games on my own. I play anything Mario, and I always call myself a senior Fortnite player. So today, in a little bit, I'm going to invite Ralph to come up on stage. Not quite yet, but I'll do a little introduction for who he is first. Ralph is a student alum of ours from the Interaction Design and Prototyping for XR course. Ralph is currently working on a prototype for New York City hospitals and has previously worked on XR projects for Meta, Disney, and Pixar. So when he comes up, he'll be able to share a little bit about that. I don't think he can share too many of the fine details about some of the projects he has on the go, as they often are. They're a little bit confidential, but he will be able to share a little bit on what he's got on the go and certainly about his course experience with us here at Circuit Stream. I'm going to start off the presentation by giving a little bit of a quick overview of who Circuit Stream is. Circuit Stream began in 2015 through a network of developers, designers, and creators who were pioneering the virtual and augmented reality ecosystem. Circuit Stream saw a need for education and training that would empower people to build Unity and XR applications and advance the industry's frontiers. We now partner with industry-leading companies and leading educational institutions to offer courses and training to those who are looking to learn more about emerging technologies such as XR and game development and game design. So you can see some of the companies and the institutions on the screen here that we are partnered with. Some of you may be asking, what is XR? So just to kind of take it right back to the beginning there, I will share a little bit on that to start. As you can see on the slide here, XR stands for extended reality, which encompasses virtual reality, augmented reality, and also mixed reality. Virtual reality would be any experience where you are fully immersed into a virtual world wearing a VR headset and you cannot see the real life environment around you. Augmented reality is where you are in a real life environment, or where your real life environment rather is modified to include computer generated content. So if you remember Pokemon Go, that app's a perfect example of what augmented reality would look like. And mixed reality is a merging of both VR and AR to create a world where real and virtual objects exist in the same space. So a good example of this would be thinking about if you had a computer-generated work setup and you were sitting at your desk at home, or you can wear the headset, you can reply to emails, work on your computer, but the computer itself isn't actually physically there. So that would be a great example of mixed reality. The XR industry has grown immensely in the last few years, with 23 million jobs projected to be enhanced by AR and VR by 2030. These jobs are not just around gaming, but also span around many other industries such as healthcare, retail, education, construction, and many, many more. Many well-known companies have also incorporated XR into their businesses, and you can see just a few examples on this slide here. The primary roles in XR are usually grouped together into either development or design, and we'll take a look at both of those throughout the presentation. XR designers are primarily responsible for conceptualizing ideas and experiences, planning visuals through storyboarding, and prototyping to ensure optimal user experience. I think I just mixed my words up there. On the other hand, XR developers take their design blueprints and implement them to build the XR app or experience and utilize the coding to bring it to life for the end user. So that's a little bit of the difference. The development side is a little bit more coding heavy. I will touch a bit more on that once I kind of explain the courses in full detail. But these people usually work closely together, or some people take it upon themselves to learn both development and design so that they're able to complete an experience from start to finish on their own. CircuitStream does offer both of these areas. So if you're looking to learn one or the other or both, you would have the option to kind of pick the courses that make the most sense for that. In order to create these XR experiences, you need to have some sort of development software. The one that we teach with predominantly here at CircuitStream is Unity. If you haven't heard of Unity, it is the world's leading platform for creating and operating interactive real-time 3D content. You can use it to create games, visualizations, immersive experiences, and much, much more. And I should have mentioned this at the beginning. I always think of this when we're on slides with some stats. The entire presentation for today will be recorded and shared with all of the attendees. So if you're interested in any of this the stats that I'm showing or any of the information that I'm sharing, also, I apologize for the siren in the background. Living downtown comes with these challenges sometimes. I'm just going to pause for a quick second. I'm sorry, folks. So the entire presentation here today will be recorded. And if you do want to reference any of the information or the statistics that I reference here, you'll be able to go back and see it in the recording. You can also take screenshots, but I just want to mention that before I flipped over to the next slide. As I mentioned previously, there are many jobs expected to be enhanced by XR technology in the coming years. So I can share some of those opportunities here as well. The demand for developers and designers in the XR space has grown dramatically and continues to grow as these technologies become more common. We've broken down the average salaries for both development and design roles in both US and in Canada. And as you can see on the screen, both countries offer highly competitive compensation in these areas. Again, you'll get a copy of this as well. Now that you know a little bit about CircuitStream and the XR industry, we're going to jump into some information about our XR development with Unity course specifically. So this course is designed for individuals who are interested in understanding how to use Unity and C# coding to develop XR experiences. The great thing about this course is it is project-based. You'll learn concepts in class, you get to apply them to real-life projects. Our students really enjoy this aspect of the course because it allows them to build up a portfolio of projects and demonstrate the skills they have learned. Sounds like a second fire truck is going by behind me right now, so I'm just gonna be aware of that for a second. Sorry, I always feel bad when this happens, but by the end of the 10 weeks, you will have learned foundational Unity skills, how to code in C#, and how to develop AR and VR applications. In a nutshell, basically, if you want to learn programming and the development concepts, then the XR development course would definitely be the right choice for you. I've already mentioned Unity, but there are a few other tools listed here that you would also use in this course, such as C#, AR Core, AR Kit. You can see everything on the screen here. We're always reviewing the materials in all of our courses as well to make sure that they're the most up to date with what's currently being used in the industry. So if you are in the audience and you've taken a course with us previously and you see some tools here that weren't here when you took the course, or if things have kind of swapped out a little bit, that would be why. We're always trying to make sure everything is current and up to date as you go through the courses. Now, the interaction design and prototyping course, on the other hand, is designed for those who are interested in understanding how to design XR experiences and interactions. So this course is also project-based. You'll have the chance to take the concepts learned in class and apply them to real-life projects. By the end of the 10 weeks, you will have learned how to apply UX best practices to XR experiences and prototype AR/VR experiences using industry-recognized tools. So the biggest difference, I always say it, but the biggest difference between the two courses is definitely the development and coding component that would come on the development side. So hopefully that helps share a little bit more about the difference between the two courses. Within the design course, besides Unity, you're also going to be using tools like Shapes XR, Figma, Spark AR, Adobe Aero. Just again, we're always updating, but these are the ones that we currently would have in this course, I should say. And as I mentioned, you'll be finishing the course with a portfolio of projects to demonstrate the skills that you have learned. You'll also receive digital badges that you can add to your resume and to your LinkedIn profile to show your completion of the course. I can just kind of showing what those look like in the center of the screen here. And last but not least, when you enroll in this course, you actually access or gain access to our private XR community on Discord. We currently have over 1,200 active members. This community is a great place to network, to get help on projects, to ask questions, to find out about career opportunities, or just connect with like-minded people. The best part is that you can continue to be a part of this community even after the course is ended. So we have a lot of graduates who are in this community and continue to share and network with current students and other graduates as well. Are both, yes, both courses are 10 weeks, that's right. They're the exact same length for both of the 10-week courses there. Wow, it is siren heavy today. There must be something happening close by. I feel like that siren just stopped right outside my building. So I apologize if there's more sirens to come here, folks. Both of our XR courses have been created to teach you the foundational skills, meaning you will gain the essential skills for either developing and designing in XR and be able to use those to create XR experiences for a wide range of devices. These are some of the student projects on the screen here right now. One of my favorite ones to always reference is the one in the corner, the bottom left corner, I should say. It is a VR Hogwarts experience in Dumbledore's room, where you get to kind of walk through and play around in Dumbledore's room in the castle. It's a really cool experience. So that's just a few examples from our students. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the logistics of the courses here. So with the development course at the start of the week, learners will gain access to the course content. On the second day, learners will have 30 minutes meeting with their instructor. This call will help the learners understand the goals for the week and ask any questions that they have. Learners will have full 4 days to review the course content. The course content is combined to a mix of videos, readings, and exercises. And learners will also be expected to go over the content before the live session. So learners are encouraged to get live support as they need it as they go through this process. Once they have the 1 hour live session, then they will have a 1 hour live session, and the live sessions will have a lab format where the instructor is responsible for troubleshooting, answering questions, and explaining topics that the learners are having any sort of difficulty with. During the lab, learners will be working on the week's assignment. The assignment will be problem-based assessment that will challenge the learners to put into practice the week's content. Learners are expected to submit their assignment by the end of the week, and they receive access to their new module while they wait for their instructor's feedback on their assignment. This cycle repeats itself throughout the course. I'm just noticing here, I do have separate information for the design course, and for some reason it's found its way out of my slide here. So I'm going to share a little bit of that in just a minute, but for now, I'm just going to stick with the logistics of the development course. So bear with me, and I will share the logistics of the design course here shortly as well. For now, I'm going to share the time slots as well for both of them. So the time slots shown on the screen here right now are shown in Pacific time. So just be aware that if you are in a different time zone, we would just need to do the conversion there to make sure that you're looking at the times correctly. But these are the different time slots available for the XR development course. We have time slots on Mondays and Thursdays, and we have different time slots for each of the days that you can see: 10 a.m. to 10:30, 10 to 11, that's time slot 1, 3:30 to 4, 3:30 to 4:30, and then 6:30 to 7, 6:30 to 7:30. This is the development. On the interaction side, time slot 1 is just a set 10 a.m. to 11:30. Time slot 2 would be 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. and time slot 3 would be 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. And again, these are also in Pacific time, so you just have to do a little bit of a conversion based on where you're located when you're taking the courses here. And now, without further ado, I'm going to invite Ralph up onto the stage so he can talk a little bit more about his experience and why he decided to take the interaction design course with us. So Ralph, if you can hear me, feel free to pop up on the stage here now.
Cool. Can you guys hear me?
We can. Yes, we can.
Great. Perfect.
Awesome. So welcome, Ralph. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm going to just ask you a few questions, if that's okay, about your experience with the course. Definitely. Here. And you've got some hellos coming in on the side there. So first thing I like to usually ask when we bring people up here is what initially attracted you to this course or program, and what sort of experience did you have in this field? And just to kind of preface, I think I mentioned this before, but Ralph took the interaction and prototyping for XR course with us, the 10-week course at Circuit Stream. So without further ado, go ahead there, Ralph, and I'll let you answer now.
Gotcha. So, my experience is fairly linear compared to other people who has attended the XR development and XR design course in Unity for Circuit Stream because I started off as an interactive designer for game development. So I was a 3D artist for XR experiences around late 2016, early 2017. So I'm kind of already there in terms of like the industry. But later on in with the company that I was working with when I was living in LA, I was slowly transitioning more into a designer for as an XR designer, but the company is also transitioning more into virtual production. So I started learning and looking into different XR courses, and I found CircuitStream. Ironically, is actually an information in info session, just as this one, where I get to meet CircuitStream alums, instructors, and other like current students as well. And what attracted me the most is they're very accommodating to the questions that I have, questions and concerns that I have with the level of knowledge that I currently have within the industry. And rest assured, everybody really aided in terms of what I needed, in terms of what I wanted to be as an XR designer, especially working with Unity, from 3D modeling tools, prototyping, and things that I needed with what I'm working on right now.
Amazing.
So,
Awesome, awesome. And then something else I usually like to ask as well, because this is an interesting to learn about. What did you like most about the course that you took with us, Ralph?
oh, cool. So I get to meet people from different industries with different skill sets, and it actually helps me gauge where the industry is heading because I'm in my own bubble. Like I already know what like up to the point of what I'm seeing within the industry, and that's just making XR games, XR experiences. But with the course that I was a part of, I get to meet people from the educational field, healthcare, real estate, people who are doing training simulations for TSA agents, so on and so forth. So that was the most interesting part for me, aside from how amazing the instructors are.
Awesome. Yeah, we hear that feedback quite a bit about the
Yeah,
instructor team here, so it's not really a shock to me, but it's always nice to hear that.
definitely.
Um, and then we do get a lot of frequently asked questions around our XR community and how the students can benefit from this private community during and after the course. So I always just like to ask, maybe you could share a little bit about your experience with the Circuit Stream community, maybe before and after the course there.
Cool. So before the course, I would have to say this industry, not just the community, but the industry itself is pretty tight knit. So you would know, if you met somebody at a conference or a convention, you'd probably be seeing them a lot more often than you think. It's just that small of an industry. But specifically for Circuit Stream, I still talk to former instructors, former cohorts that I have. Actually, one is in attendance right now. So hello, Lena. And one of the things that benefited me the most was there was a point in time that they needed a representative from CircuitStream to help judge a Niantic hackathon in New York City. Niantic is the company that made Pokemon Go, and CircuitStream at that time was an educational partner for Niantic. And since I live in New York City, they contacted me see if I can just stop by and to represent CircuitStream, which I did. So these are the types of things that I would like to point out in terms of the CircuitStream community in itself. And of course, CircuitStream still has challenges and different workshops just to keep the community engaged. So whether you're still doing your CircuitStream courses or after, you're still more than welcome to be able to participate in those.
Absolutely, and we are still a partner with Niantic. In case anybody in the
Oh,
audience
there you go.
was curious about that, I chat with Niantic actually all the time, and I've gone to a few conferences in the last probably 6 months or so, and we've done some partnered sessions with Niantic. So Niantic's still a really great partner of ours here at Circuit Stream. The next thing I'll ask you here is what sort of XR projects are you currently working on, and
Cool.
where you're allowed to share, I should say.
Okay, cool. I'll tiptoe around the NDAs I'm in. So I'm currently working with uh, a university here in New York City. I'm working with a research group who's trying to conceptualize the future of New York City hospitals. So, to help fund their research, they're trying to ask different industries, like, hey, can we 3D print this specific asset? But they've contacted me specifically to make a VR experience from their concepts, basically trying to put their concepts in virtual reality. So that's in collaboration with New York City hospitals. And then another project, uh, it's not as hands-on, but it's more of creative direction. I'm actually helping the Philippine Embassy of New York City in building a virtual museum. So I'm
Oh,
fairly
wow.
excited for that one. And then it's not really XR related, but I'm also working on an XR newsletter where I just put all my documentations in from all the projects that I've been a part of, and then just sharing that to people. Because I've been sharing
Oh,
this to friends, so might as well share it to everybody at this point.
yeah, if you have that too, I don't know if you have that information handy, Ralph. You probably do, but feel free to
Definitely.
share that in the chat. You can do it now. You can
Sure,
do it
sure,
anytime during the presentation there, because I'm sure people would love to kind of see what you're working on in that sense. But
sure.
that last, I mean, it all sounds really cool. But the I think you said for the Filipino embassy, that's incredible too. That's a
Yeah,
huge
I'm
project.
really excited about that too. I don't know what to
Yeah.
expect, but I'm just excited.
Well, that's, I mean, that's kind of the exciting part about this industry is you never really know what to expect going into a lot of these initial conversations because it's the tech is new in a sense and the conversations are new and
Yeah,
the companies in a lot of senses are wanting to integrate the technology, but they don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet. And to me, I feel like that's half the exciting conversation. You get to go in and kind of be creative and play around with it, especially on the design side. You get to be creative. So. Um, awesome, awesome. And then this is another great question I always like to provide for people in the audience. Ralph, if you could offer any advice to new students who are looking to get started in XR design, what would that look like if they don't for taking the course or getting into the industry? Just overall advice for new designers, I guess.
so I would give like different kind of advice for somebody who's just starting and somebody who was kind of like in my position trying to transition. So if you're starting, I would say it's important to properly scope your projects, because especially if you're taking the design courses, they will help you scope, but it's also important that you could be transparent within yourself on the amount, on how big the project is going to be. That will also help you once you transition and getting a job, because you get to assess where the different bottlenecks or different issues may happen. So that's one. And then always there's a good amount of documentation that's available right now, where when I started there was incredibly limited or almost none. So you have that luxury as well, and feel free to just look at different documentations, what people have out there. And then if you are if you have decided to be part of like the circuit stream design or development courses, take advantage of your one-to-one sessions with your instructors, because outside of the instruction time or like your class hours, you also have those specific times. So take advantage of those. It's like it's part of the thing that you paid for, and having that is such a luxury, because there's certain things that you may not think about while you're in class, and then all of a sudden after class ends you're like, oh crap, like I forgot to ask this one to my instructor. Let me just ask this one to my one-to-one instructor. So that's one thing. And then if you're coming from the game industry, if you're also coming from visual effects where you're kind of like in that realm, I would say a healthy amount of curiosity would help, because you're already knowledgeable with how different programs and softwares work. So just let your curiosity decide on what you can do and cannot do. And in fact, if you've been working on games, it's rest assured that you're just using a different tool right now. But again, a healthy amount of curiosity would always guide you for that one, since you already have the skills.
Amazing. And then with that, I didn't actually, in full transparency, Ralph, I didn't ask you this one in advance or let you know I was going to ask you this question, I guess. But
Sure.
just kind of as an extension of the previous one, I know your pathway, you kind of had a little bit of experience in the XR industry before you started with us. And our students come from all different types of backgrounds. Some are completely new, some have a little bit of experience, some are looking to kind of factor it into their current work environments or their job roles. But for somebody who's completely brand new and didn't have any previous experience, from your perspective from taking the course, what sort of advice would you give somebody there? Like, what sort of encouragement, I guess, would you give somebody there?
So I've met a lot of people, not just in circuit stream, but just industry in general. People who are trying to transition from, let's say, from being a lawyer to being an XR designer, right? So my main advice is network, because not that you're only going to find people who are more knowledgeable than you're also going to find people who are trying to be who are also trying to transition. So you're now already trying to build that community within yourself. So what I would have to say, and what I've given advice to some of my peers, which I wasn't able to do because I started like fairly early in XR, is try to group yourselves together and then try to do trial and error. So once you make a mistake, you can share that within your group together. So you're not just making that mistake and learning it amongst your, like, just by yourself, but you're already sharing that with the community you're a part of. So that's the main advice that I would give you guys. And then right now, there's still not a lot of in-person meetups, but of course, Circuit Stream would have a lot of information sessions and workshops as well. So do attend those, and those are very helpful because they're not just trying to show you how Unity works, but these are really short workshops where you're going to be able to make a prototype or a very small product.
Yeah, we're expanding those as well. We're actually offering what we currently do, and IndyCar instructor manager is putting together some other ones right now. I think he's doing something with Snapchat filters as well.
Yep.
It might even be today. So if you're interested in learning in the audience about any of that, I mean, just reach out to us and let us know. But Ralph
Yeah.
kind of hit the nail on the head. It's all about community. It's about finding like-minded people, and it's about connecting and learning from them and letting them kind of guide you a bit,
Yeah.
especially if you're
You
brand
just
new.
getting your hands dirty and just like work, just all hands on deck in terms of different softwares. It's okay to make those mistakes because a lot of these softwares are free anyway, and there's a lot of tutorials outside. So
Totally. Yeah. And that's often where a lot of people
mhm.
start with us too. They take the course and then they take it upon themselves to do a lot of individual education. And, because once you have the foundations too, it
Yeah.
helps you understand the core concepts of design and development. So, and then the last thing I'll ask you there, Ralph, is where can people find you online? So you can share here, or you can share some of your links, your
I
LinkedIn profile,
can
or
try to copy and paste what I have on the chat if that's okay.
yeah, please do.
Cool.
Put it right into the chat. People can find you that way. They can click right on your links.
Definitely. I'll
And then what
just
I'm
put it here. We'll make sure it's for everybody, not on
yeah,
moderators. There
yes,
you go.
I can see you're typing in the main chat there, so it
Perfect.
should come through. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to share a little bit more course information with the audience, some of the upcoming start dates that we have. So if anybody's interested in the next cohorts, they know how to kind of proceed. And then Rolf, what I'll do is I'll invite you to come back up on stage, probably be about 2 or 3 minutes from now. I'm just going to share some quick info, and then you and I can look at the questions from the audience right after that there. Um, so I will. I'm going to kick you off the stage for now, and I'm going to attempt to share my presentation again here. There we go. And hopefully everybody can see that again all right. Perfect. Yeah, you got some thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you, guys. it's helpful. So I can't see everything all the time, so it's nice to see the little thumbs up coming through there. And on the screen as well, these two videos that were kind of playing initially when Rolf were talking, these are these are two projects that he actually created during the course with us here at CircuitStream. So I just wanted to quickly pause on this for just a second, hit the play button again so everyone kind of gets to see what these look like. They're not long videos, they're just quick little snapshots just showing you some of the information or some of the projects that Rolf worked on in the course there. So I will flip on here. And again, thank you, Rolf. I'm going to invite you back on stage for Q&A shortly, as I mentioned. For now, I'm just going to go over some of the course information. One of the main questions I get always, or two questions, is when does it start and how much does the course cost? So starting with the pricing is usually fair. I did sneak a slide right in here really quickly that I meant to share with everyone earlier. This is specific to the design course schedule. So the development course and the design course do run a little bit different in terms of the time slots and how they run throughout the week. So I shared the full breakdown of the development course in its own slide previously. This is the slide showing the information on how the design course would break down. So 10 weeks total, 3 hours of live online sessions per week, and the 6 hours of independent study. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't skip past that, and I had that included for everybody if you were taking a look there. The pricing information. So we offer two different packages for both of the courses. The starter package is basically great for anyone who already has a little bit of experience and doesn't need additional assistance. But if you're a complete beginner or you wish to have a little bit more of a personalized support from an industry expert, that's where we would suggest the Plus package. With the Plus package, you also gain access to the premium community features. You gain access to challenges, premium workshops, content, and more. And then we usually run some sort of an offer for people who have registered for the event here today. So as a live attendee for the event today, the offer that we would be able to put forward is we're actually able to offer the Plus package for the same price as the starter package. But then not only that, we've decided to go ahead and actually take an additional 10% off. So if you're getting the Plus package, that means that it would be equivalent to about $1,395 off the price, which is kind of crazy. I know the seats will be limited. This is probably going to fill up very quickly. So if you are interested in securing this, just let us know. We have upcoming start dates. Let me share. I think they're coming up in a slide or two. I'm going to share the start dates after this. But even if the start dates that I share in a moment don't work for you, as long as you register by the cutoff, I believe it's by September 8th, we can actually apply this for future start dates as well. So if the course was full or if the start date didn't work for you, we can actually offer this for future ones too. We offer different different financing options depending on where you're from. For students located in the US, we partner with a company called Climb to offer monthly payments. And then if you're in Canada or any other countries outside of the US, you could take advantage of the deferred monthly payment plans. So once you're ready to apply, basically, you just connect with our team. Our enrollment advisors can help answer any questions you have about the pricing and payment, and just make sure that you pick the right plan that would work best for you. We typically run these courses every few months. Our upcoming cohort for the interaction design and prototyping for XR course begins on September 6th. And the upcoming cohort for the XR development with Unity course begins on October 2nd. That's what I mentioned previously. If these dates don't work for you, if you need to start at a later cohort and you are interested in accessing the promotion that we have for today's event, that's where I can take a look at the future cohort dates for you as well. And the registration is now open. If you want to book a meeting with anybody on the team, I'm going to see if it lets me share these in the chat with everybody as well. So we, for the partners here, we have links for UBC and for UFT. So University of Toronto, University of British Columbia, and then also if you're joining from CircuitStream. But these would be the three links there that you can use. If you click on those directly, you can book a meeting straight through with one of the team members, and we would go over any information that you'd like about the course or about getting you registered. So just wanted to share that. And yeah, that's it. I just wanted to share some of the course logistics and pricing, make sure that everyone knew kind of how to access the courses. And with that, Ralph, I can go ahead and invite you back up on stage here. And maybe I will make our screens a little bit bigger here. There we go. And I'm going to close this one so that it's just you and I up on the screen here. There we go.
Cool.
So we've got some questions in the questions tab. I'm going to pop over here. I think you've answered some of these already, but just in case, Ralph, I'm going to post these still up on the screen, and then we can just kind of run through your answers if that's
Uh-huh.
okay. In case anybody missed anything, it's always just nice to kind of do that. So what are some of the, let's do this one. Oh, it won't let me do, I guess it won't let me share the answer live once we've answered it on the side, but what are some of the best tools for doing XR design? What is the process going from idea to design to mockup? Do you want to just maybe explain your answer on that one there, Ralph?
Okay, so from ideation, that's that varies per project because you can just go from, I don't know, Photoshop or just collecting different images for in terms of your ideation. But with what I've been doing specifically is I do a lot of my block out and ideation using different 3D excuse me, different 3D modeling tools so I can already block out how it's going to look over there. And then again, textures and materials. If you want to put some textures and materials on those 3D models, you use Substance Suite, which was already bought by Adobe. And then, of course, Tyler has already mentioned different tools and game engines that you can use, which is Unity, Shapes XR, Unreal Engine, and Spark AR. I think for this question, Sasha, it would definitely depend on what you're trying to do. And I'm just thinking out right now with all types of projects because some projects it would be better using this specific program. For an AR project that would be entirely different, but if you're going to be asking something in general, this is what I would have to put in.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like feel free to, I mean, my contact is here. Feel free to email me if there's a specific project that you're going to be working on. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, and likewise, you can reach out to the Circuit Stream team. I certainly wouldn't personally have an answer, but one of our qualified instructors would have a much better
yeah.
answer for you than I would. And then I wanted to say too that I did post or publish a couple more polls during the presentation there. So for anybody in the audience, feel free to open the polls tab and interact with the polls. We're just engaging to see kind of what industries you're working in, and if you got a clear understanding of the course that we're sharing here today. So it's always just nice to kind of hear direct feedback from you.
Mhm.
And then the next question here is very similar to what we were already working on. I'm just going to post this up, or answering, I should say. I'm just going to post this really quickly. What tools do we learn in the interaction design and prototyping for XR course? We shared it in the presentation. This question probably came up before that, but I shared it on the screen here as well, and Rolf just touched on it in the previous response too. But these would be the main tools for the XR interaction design course. And I'm going to close this again and bring us back up. Perfect. Is video incorporated in XR design course? I think in what your answer was is, if does that mean it's going to be recorded? Then yes. In the development course, there are portions of it that will have pre-recorded video. The design course runs a little bit different. I don't think it has sections with that necessarily the same way. If that was your question, we can kind of, if you connect with the team here, we can kind of break that down. The easiest way would be probably to provide the syllabus for both of the courses and kind of let you know, show you where the differences would be there. But if your question was if the sessions are recorded, yes, those are also recorded, and you can go back and reference the live classes anytime as well. And then Ralph, you're working with clients. How do you communicate and discuss concepts with people who are less familiar with XR technology? This is a great question. I wish I could post this up on the screen, but go ahead, Ralph,
Yes.
and answer this one.
Yeah. So I already answered it, but I'm just going to reiterate my answer, of course. Uh, if this is a client that's totally new to any type of XR technology or experiences, I would have a go-to list of different XR content and experiences that I get to show them. When I mean go-to list, this has to be the best and the most user-friendly because this will be their first impression of what XR is, and usually those type of first impressions last. And I cannot reiterate this enough. The amount of people that got turned off early on based on the types of experiences that they've had before, right? So I would list different, whatever it may be. It may be Beat Saber, it may be Shapes XR, Gravity Sketch, whichever it might be that will help. So imagine you're pitching, so try to show them something that, hey, this is a user friendly experience and this is what we'd be able to do. This is how it feels like. Just let them try the headset on. So I think that's where I'm trying to go to. So yeah.
So, okay, I think I can post the next one here. Let me see. Yeah. And I think this question came through in the chat as well, which I was actually
Yes.
going to just copy and paste it over if you didn't put it here. But I appreciate whoever that was that you also put it into the Cora, that you also put it into the questions here. But I've seen New York, NYU, and MIT offer courses in XR development and design as well. Would you have any input on the common differences, or would it be useful to take multiple courses? A little bit of both. I mean, if you review the syllabi from both of the courses, you'd be able to kind of find the commonalities and the differences between the two. There's likely areas that are a little bit more focused in our course and areas that would be a little bit more focused in a different competitive sort of course that's offered out there. But what I usually say, and the resounding message that I hear back from most people, is that more education and more learning is better. So, at Circuit Stream, we're never going to say that we don't encourage you to go continue on and take more courses, get more education, continue to learn, network with people. Obviously, we're a little bit biased. We love the education that we offer here at Circuit Stream. We know that it's high quality. We know that the instructors are high quality. We know that we're always keeping things up to date with the industry. That would be something I wouldn't be able to speak to on behalf of any other courses, but considering the branding that's coming behind those courses, there's probably some great content out there as well. So I would say our courses, I can vouch for them. We have a lot of feedback. We make big waves in the industry, but continuing to learn outside of the courses that we offer is certainly not a bad thing either. So just look at the syllabi and make sure that you're not signing up for two courses, I guess, that would have most of the same content, because then you're going to find yourself probably repeating things a bit too much. So that's that one. And let's see. In case a person is getting behind, is it possible to start over in the next course intake? So we would want to just kind of review with you. I think if we noticed early on in the course that you were falling a little bit behind, that would probably be a discussion that they would have to look at maybe shifting you to a future cohort and giving you a little bit more time to review some materials maybe before that time. But throughout the bigger thing, and Ralph's already kind of mentioned this previously as well, you have a ton of support. You have support from the instructors, you have support from the Circuit Stream community, from our Discord. So it's kind of rare that somebody would get into a position where they're really feeling like they're falling behind. The pace of the course goes really well, and then you have a really strong supportive team behind you. So we would just work with you, but it's very rare that this would kind of happen. And Ralph can kind of speak to this probably from the course perspective.
Yeah. So I would have to say, as long as I mean, Circuit Stream is very accommodating because we get it. People are transitioning from one job to another or from one industry to another. So most of my cohorts at that time still have their day jobs. So as long as you keep that line of communication that, hey, I have work, I may not be able to attend this session, or I may not be able to attend my one-on-one session with my other instructor. There's also office hours to ask those type of questions that you may need. And again, I cannot like just explain this enough more, like how accommodating everybody was when I was a student, because I was also doing a lot of freelance work as well. So yeah, just I think in terms of scheduling, you can also look that up too with the course schedules on how that worked with you. Because with me, I made sure the course that I'm taking in terms of the schedule, I made sure that worked initially for my day job, and then just make the necessary adjustments there.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's a big message too. Yeah, most people, especially if you're signing up for a 10-week course, you're certainly not going to quit your job and quit your whole life just to
Yeah,
take a 10-week course. There has to be other things kind of going on simultaneously. So we try and pace the courses with that in mind as well, and set the weekly expectations not too high. In the 6 month development and design boot camps that we offer, it does get a little bit more detailed. It would take up a bit more of your time throughout the week, but obviously that's a little bit different with the 6 month course commitment versus the 10-week one for these ones here. So, um, and then I don't have a headset. I've heard this one so many times since I started that circuit stream, and I always try and provide the best possible answer that I can. I don't have a headset. Any way to engage in VR work without a headset. My primary interest is in AR. So you can absolutely access AR without a headset. You can test your projects, your experiences without needing a headset there, because you can create things in Unity and then you can export them to things like your phone or other objects where you'd be able to kind of interact with AR style apps. For anything that's VR related, the headset's probably going to be the only way that you're going to be able to actually test out your products or your experiences as you're doing it. So the resounding message that I always let people know for both of our 10-week courses is we've set the content so that you don't actually require a headset to learn how to develop or to learn how to design. Most of what we're doing, the work that we're doing, is going to be done in the tools that you saw and then also in Unity. But if you want to have a good understanding and you want to be able to export your experiences and really interact with them, having the headset, at least on the VR side, is going to be something that's going to help with that. I do have people that say, I want the course, I want the education, but I'm not looking to invest in both the course and the headset right away. My advice usually is invest in the course first, and then once you have the education, then look at investing into a headset. There's ways that you can access headsets. There's public spaces, libraries, places that you can go that you can kind of interact with this already. But the education component is going to be obviously something that you can't get if you just buy a headset. So that's usually my advice. I'll pause there. I always talk very long about this. Ralph, I see you nodding. Does that sound kind of accurate from your side of things?
Yeah, pretty much. And then the XR courses, it's actually designed to just, I mean, not just with VR, but we also touch on AR components within Unity, like strictly AR components where we get to test what we did on that class on our phones. So it's not, you're not really tied on, oh, like I, I don't have a headset, so I cannot really do anything with this class. No, because also the class is recorded. So by the time that you do have a headset, you can just go back to those classes and then try to port that project into a headset.
Absolutely. Yeah. So basically, if you don't have a headset, you're interested in the education, I wouldn't let that be a deterring factor. But if you are really interested on the VR side overall, eventually you're likely going to want to invest in a headset to kind of, back up the education that you're getting and be able to test things out. So there, that's hopefully that answered that one. I'm a complete beginner to coding and design, but I'd really like to merge my passions of art and tech into UX and UI design, and also VR and XR design and development. How would you recommend that I get started and build my confidence and work within these industries? So I have usually what I say to people, if I get somebody brand new that reaches out to me and says that they are kind of curious to learn both sides of it, I usually get them to lean a little bit more towards where their passion lies mostly. Because it is a lot, if you're a complete beginner to coding and to design, it is a lot to learn all of that right from the get-go. But like for yourself, example, Ralph, you're on the design side. That probably means that you get a little bit more passion on designing the applications and
Mhm.
experiences versus doing lines of C# coding,
Yep.
whereas true developers are completely opposite. And then there are people that land in between. So for this one, I would say just kind of find where your passion lies a little bit more and maybe start on one of the two sides for your journey. If you're starting brand new, the 10-week courses are a great place to start. If you're looking at getting into a little bit more advanced XR development, we do have the boot camp. It's not focused predominantly on XR. It is mostly on Unity development overall, and it does touch on game development components. But what we do there is we teach the skill sets as it relates to game development, because those can then be also transferred to XR development and design as well, as long as you're learning within systems like Unity. So that's kind of how we do the larger development course. But that's my best advice. Pick which one you're more passionate about. Start with an easy course like the 10-week course to kind of get your feet wet and get some of the foundational skills, and then you can build from there. But I'll let you kind of add to that too, Ralph, if that sounds right.
Yeah. So the key word here is I'm a complete beginner to coding and design, right? So I would my number one advice would always be pacing in terms of on how you learn new things, because I would expect that you would start to open Unity, Unreal Engine, so on and so forth, right? And these are complex programs and softwares, so a lot of things could go wrong without you even knowing it actually going wrong, and that could be frustrating to any type of beginner, right? So I'm going to use this as an example. Right now in film, a lot of people are using Unreal Engine, and a lot of those people who've been using it are people all the way from film and cinema and television, where they really know how Unreal Engine works, and a lot of things could actually go wrong. They didn't really pace themselves in how they're learning the engine. It got to the point that projects get scrapped. Uh, they would need extra time to finish a project. So I would always advise on try to work on really small projects, from things that, okay, I'm going to make a cube and then I'm trying to make it move from point A to point B. Start off from that and then see what you can build from there. So I will always vouch for progress over perfection. So yeah, really pace yourself. And then there's a lot of tutorials that you could follow. So learn how to follow those tutorials, and then turn off the tutorial and see if you can do it yourself.
Totally. Yeah, and I guess with that too, we already mentioned this previous, but the networks. If you're new and you're wanting a little bit of confidence in how to build, starting with a 10-week course or something like that is going to be a great place. But within Circuit Stream, if you start here or even outside of it, just try and find as many XR focused networks that you can get yourself immersed into. If you Google it, you'll find lots online, but I mean, at Circuit Stream, we have our own as well. And that's going to help you build confidence too, because you can connect with other people. You'll find people who are complete beginners there with you that have the exact same questions, or you'll find people who are a lot more advanced, but they're very, very willing to engage with you and to help you understand the concepts and things a bit more. So one of the biggest things I notice about this community is everyone's very encouraging, everyone supports each other, and they're excited to share. Like when there's new advancements, new announcements, new things in XR, everyone's excited about it. Everyone wants to support each other. So if you're brand new, a 10-week course and then joining as many networks for support is probably the best way to kind of get yourself immersed into it initially. And then I think we've got one more here. How does the course incorporate UX design into XR development? Will I learn about user research, interaction design, usability testing, and other aspects of creating seamless user experiences in XR environments? So initially to me, it kind of reads as a little bit like the two different courses. So how does the course incorporate UX design into XR development? We probably focus a little bit more on the UX design principles in the design course, and then a little bit more on the development side on the development course. But maybe you could expand a bit on that as well, Ralph.
Yeah, so from what I've remembered, there's several people. Well, when I was on the design course around mid 2021,
Mm-hmm.
I believe there were a few of my cohorts were in UX, trying to transition more into XR, and of course, this was one of their questions as well. And it wasn't really that hard for them to incorporate UX design, because they're really strictly focusing on UX design for XR. So uh, they try to accommodate for what they want to do in terms of their projects. So their projects, it's not always going to be, I'm going to make a game or I'm going to make a language learning tool in VR. It could be a small prototype to try to relay that information in your projects. So, but with this specific question, I don't know if this is more this is part of the design course, or could also be part of the boot camp. I think an instructor could actually answer this question fairly well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is it might just be the case that if you're wanting to kind of learn both sides of it,
Mhm.
you could take one course and you could lean on one-on-one support or lean on the instructors to kind of teach you a little bit about, for example, if you took the development course, the instructors are still well versed in design. They'd be able to
Yeah.
teach you minor components of design, even though you took the development course. And that might be a good way for you to kind of find the overlap. The other way, Shabana, would just be to take both courses and kind of learn well-rounded for both XR development and for XR design so that you can put them together. But most likely most commonly we have teams on both sides. So if you went through the course as a developer, for example, and you were looking to incorporate UX design and you didn't have that education, you would likely just reach out to the network and say, hey, I'm an XR developer. I'm looking at incorporating some design components here. Are there any XR designers who'd be able to assist me in this area? So, and that's where we see a lot of collab come for game development and for app development. So
Yeah.
cool.
And then we also have another question on the chat. I just
Oh,
saw it. Yep.
perfect. Let me whip over there.
By the way, guys, if you
Uh,
have any questions, put it on the questions tab. If
yeah,
you
we can take a
can,
look in the,
on the last one,
is
scroll
it this
down.
one here, for the design course one?
Yes.
Did we get in touch upon, or do we get to touch upon very basic coding at least? I see Circuit Streams used to bundle it with a coding class in the design course, but I assume they don't do that anymore. Thank you.
Yes.
Did you? I could see you nodding. It looked like you had an answer ready there.
Yes. Okay. Yes. No, because okay. So from my experience, I was taking the design course, but also know that you will have a separate one-on-one instructor talking about your project and what you want to do, basically guiding you throughout that 10 week outside of your class. And my one-on-one instructor is actually the current instructor manager for Circuit Stream. His name is Indica, and whenever we would have our one-on-one instruction, I would tell him like, "Hey, dude, can you like teach me how to code?" So that was pretty much it. So yes, you can with that, and then the bundle also helps. The bundle is only going to help the C# class, but with office hours and that one-on-one instruction with your instructor, you can definitely ask coding questions.
Yeah.
They will be very accommodating for that. Of course, they will try to lean towards more design concepts and prototyping, but if you're willing to really learn basic coding, yes.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Like the resounding message is that the development course is going to predominantly focus on coding and development. The design course is going to predominantly focus on interaction design and UI UX practices. But if you take either of them, because of the support we have at Circuit Stream, you can kind of lean on that to learn a little bit about the other side. But if you do really want to kind of do both, then I would usually recommend just kind of jumping into courses on both sides of it and just not all at once. Like pace yourself, like Rolf said earlier. Start with one, get through, and make sure. Because I've had students reach out to me and say, "Hey, I want to learn everything. I'm going to sign up for both courses and just do them in tandem and run
Yeah.
through." And that is a lot. It's a lot of work for somebody, especially if you're looking to also do your regular job. If you aren't having quit your job to take these courses, then taking two of them in conjunction with your regular life could be a lot.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah, and
pace
not to
yourself.
mention uh, when you're taking a class, you also have to accommodate enough time to build your portfolio. And of course, your portfolio has to be polished as well. So try to accommodate time for that too. That's why pacing is really important. So you can also organize the time that you could allot in terms of your effort from the class to your project to your portfolio and to your daytime job.
Absolutely. And if you pace yourself properly too, like you can take one of the 10-week courses and then you may end up working with some of the other students on some side projects that have nothing to do with the course or curriculum. And you get to throw those into your portfolio as well as you're kind of preparing yourself to go into the design course next, for example. So yeah, so hopefully that answers the question there. And I'm just going to take a quick look. I think we hit them all in the questions tab and everything in the chat tab. I mentioned before, if anybody here didn't get a chance to interact with the polls, feel free to go ahead and open that tab and just fill that out before the event ends here. But I think that's it. I think that's the majority of the session that we had scheduled here for today. So I'm just going to say thank you, Ralph, again for joining us. I know you've done sessions with us in the past, but thank you so much for joining us and sharing your course insight. I'm sure that everybody in the audience values the information that you share and your experience and kind of how it was for you going through the course. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And then Rolf shared his contact information in the chat previously, but if you just look up Rolf Roma on LinkedIn, you should likely find his profile there as well. Feel free to follow him. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us or to Ralph. The early bird pricing that I mentioned previously for the promotion for this event for the upcoming courses or for the ones future is up until September 8th. So if you are looking to secure a spot, just let us know as soon as you can. Click on the links that I shared in the chat. You can book a direct meeting with somebody here. Or if you've missed those for any reason, just go to the Circuit Stream website. You can click on the live support, or you can just reach out to us directly anytime that way. So without further ado, I'll end the event there. Thank you everyone for joining us. Our next event is going to be, I believe it's going to be August 31st. We're going to be doing a bit of a student spotlight and spotlighting some of our students from both the development, design, and the boot camps. So it's going to be a little bit more broad range. August 31st, the event is not posted on the website yet. I'm personally working on that right now. It will be up very soon. So once that's up, you'll be able to register. And yeah, we'll hopefully look forward to seeing everybody join us there as well. So thank you again. Have a fantastic day. And thank you on behalf of Circuit Stream.